Hi, and I want to thank everybody in advance for watching, and I guess I'm just going to jump right in here. This is a mandolin. This is my most prized possession. I love this thing. This is a mandolin that was built by my grandfather. It is one of 8. You can see I love it. I play it all the time. As you can see, this is where my finger has rubbed from me playing it so much. I absolutely love this thing. This is an F model that he built, and I'll go into that in more detail later. But I just wanted to explain to you some facts about a mandolin, and maybe you can learn something new about mandolins. So the basic points that I want to go over is what exactly is a mandolin, where mandolins come from, and why mandolins are important. So to begin with, what exactly is a mandolin? A mandolin is a stringed instrument having 8 strings in pairs of 2. So like here's 2 strings tuned to E, 2 strings tuned to A, D, and G. Mandolins usually have curved tops. Hope you guys can see the curvature on that. And same with back and the top. They're both carved and curved. And some famous mandolin players would include the bluegrass father, Bill Monroe, the country and bluegrass star, Ricky Skaggs, one half of the Osborne brothers, Bobby Osborne, and newgrass player Sam Bush. That's some of the more famous mandolin players. Now, where did mandolins come from? The earliest record of a mandolin-like instrument was in the Renaissance era. The Ron McFarlane website has an article titled "The Lute: A Brief History." The lute, in this article, it explains that the lute was first introduced in the Renaissance era, and it was mainly for royalty such as kings, queens, and it even appeared in theaters, including the Shakespearean plays. Then this lute started to spread, and it started to become more of a normal, common people instrument, including being played in pubs and on the street. And that brings us up into the 15th century mandolin. The Pittsburgh Mandolin Orchestra website clearly states the mandolin first appeared in the 15th century Naples, Italy, as an adaptation of the lute. So the mandolin, the Renaissance lute, adapted into the 15th century mandolin in Naples, Italy. And that brings us up to the current mandolin, which is what I just showed you. It has 2 styles, the F model, which I showed you, and the A model, which has a more of a rounded or teardrop shaped body. These models were introduced in the late 1800s or early 1900s and have become popular. So now we've discussed what a mandolin is and where it came from. So why is a mandolin so important? Mandolin is one of the most influential instruments in producing genres of music. It has influenced the bluegrass genre, the country genre, and even rock and roll. Now, before you guys get too crazy about that rock and roll that I just said, let me explain that. Bill Monroe, like I said, the bluegrass father, played mandolin. And the NPR music website states that Richard D. Smith, Bill Monroe's biographer, said, not only he's the father of bluegrass, meaning Bill Monroe, he was influential in country music, later in the folk music revival, but also early rockers loved Monroe. Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, and Buddy Holly, all huge Bill Monroe fans. So, Bill Monroe influenced Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley influenced, the king of rock. He influenced all rock, even into current rock. So, indirectly, Bill Monroe and his mandolin influenced rock all the way up into current rock. So, the mandolin has influenced bluegrass, country, and even rock and roll. The mandolin is an amazing instrument. I think it's just beautiful, the way it looks, the way it sounds, the music that is played on it. like I said, all the way from bluegrass to rock. It's amazing what the mandolin can do. People have even adapted the mandolin into an electric instrument. People have built electric mandolins to suit their needs in the country and rock genre. It's amazing. I just believe that the mandolin is a very understated instrument. A lot of people haven't heard of them, haven't seen them, haven't heard the way that they play. And, I think a lot of people really fall in love with them when they really are introduced to them. So if I had to pick one instrument that would be my favorite, that I would play if that was the only instrument I could play, it would have to be the mandolin. And so I want to thank you guys again for listening to my speech, and hopefully you've learned something about my favorite instrument. Thank you.